Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yesterday I was thinking about something. What prompted this thought was my daughter was refusing to eat her banana. And so then I started thinking about fruits and a banana specifically. I was thinking about where does the fruity taste come from? When you eat a fruit and we say this is fruity, what is the defining characteristic of the taste fruity? Because bananas taste fruity, apples taste fruity, all fruits taste fruity, but they all have various different tastes. I started thinking, and my answer, which is whether it's right or wrong, Allahu Alam, the answer that I came up with is that fruity comes from a mixture of sweet and sour. Because a fruit, and I remembered this because a few days prior I ate a green apple. It was so sour. There's no sweetness to it. But since I already took the first bite, I finished it. But it was probably the most sour apple that I had in a very, very long time. So when a fruit is young, it's very sour. And as it gets older and older and reaches that ripeness, and then it has that best fruity flavor when it's exactly ripe, then when it goes even more closer to becoming rotten, it gets more and more sweet, and then there's no more sourness left in that fruit. So it starts off sour, it gets in the middle where you get the perfect fruity taste, which is a mixture of sweet and sour. And then it ends off sweet before it starts to get facid and rotten. So that was my conclusion, that a fruit is fruity because the fruity taste is a mixture of sweet and sour. My mind then took me to another example, Allahu Alam, why it went that way. And it compared ourselves to a fruit. And I was thinking, when we're young, we are a certain way, and when we're old, we are a different way. When we're young, we tend to have very strong bodies. As a child, of course, it's still growing, but they have a lot of energy. They have physically a lot of power, if you think about it. Right now, at my age, of course, I'm stronger than a child, than my daughter, but her energy levels are unmatched. Like, I cannot match that energy that she has. And as we get older, when you look at elderly people, they're extremely wise. They're so intelligent. They have so much wisdom. They'll say a few words, and within it, there's so much meanings. So humans are kind of like fruits too. They start off sour, and this is in no way saying that little children are sour. The comparison is that they have strength, and that in a fruit is the sourness. They start off strong. As they grow older, that youthful energy starts to go down, but wisdom and knowledge start to rise. Then, when they get old, they have a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, but the physical prowess, the energy, the strength has diminished greatly. Where you find equilibrium, the fruity taste, if you will, the best part of the fruit, when you're supposed to have the fruit, the purpose of the fruit, is when strength and intellect as well as wisdom and knowledge are equal. And that is when you are in the middle of your life. When you are in your 30s, 40s, let's say those 2 decades, that is the fruit of your life. That is going to be where you need to utilize both of these facets. You're at your kamal, your perfection, and so the most production needs to take place. If you think about a fruit, you have to consume that fruit when it is ripe, when it has the fruity taste, the sweet and the sour. Before it, it's just not palatable. Afterward, it starts to rot. So you have a small window. Now that's the purpose of a fruit. As for a human being, our purpose is production. So we have to produce the most when we're at that equilibrium, when our strength and our intellect and wisdom are equal, or at least near one another. Now, What is the best thing that we can produce? We know as Muslims we have been created for ibadah and worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thus, in our 30s and 40s, when our knowledge of Islam and understanding reaches a very high level, not its culmination, but a high level, and our bodies are also fit, we should utilize this time to properly worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praying to Him, reading Quran, reading tafsirs, applying it in our lives, and doing whatever we can so that later on when our wisdom is greater, we can focus more on that. But we've already set a great foundation of our ibadah. Basically, our production is set. And so this was just a thought that I had. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to utilize our age, utilize our strength while we have it. Because just like a fruit, we're seeing them every day in a week. This fruit went from being sour to the perfect amount, and then if it wasn't eaten at that time, it just becomes old and rotten, and then there's flies all over it. So we need to utilize this time while we have this chance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us this chance. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.